Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're super excited today. We've got Markus Loving. He is an expert in online and internet and marketing and small businesses. And I want to welcome you to the show today, Markus. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Tracy, for having me. I appreciate your time.
Great. I appreciate you spending time with our audience today. So let's just get right into it. Tell us about your business and what type of customers that you're helping.
Business is online market domination. The reason we chose that name is, let's face it, when all of us business owners got into business, we didn't get into business to compete. We got into to dominate. We wanted to crush it. We wanted to be the go-to person in our industries that everyone turns to as their trusted advisor or their best service provider, that sort of thing. So we got started with that about 8 years ago. And the kinds of customers we work with, I would say 85% of them are what I would call brick and mortar businesses, local businesses that want to dominate their market in their local area. About 10 to 12% are service-based businesses, and the rest we work with a little bit with nonprofit organizations. But really, it's about what we call dominating their market, which means that when people go looking for them or looking for the problem or the challenge that they're having and that their industry provides, they're going to find them, but not just find them one place. They find them all over the first page of Google and other places that they might be looking for them.
So what would be the advantage of a company being found like that? How would that help those companies that want to do that?
Well, the advantage really is that, give you an example. I have a sewer and drain client that had a pretty aggressive desire to dominate a very large area of real estate. We're talking, probably about 100 square miles. And so what we decided to do was kind of laser target certain hubs, areas in those areas, those certain cities. And when you search for terms like, emergency sewer repair, or things that one of their customers would be thinking about, especially when it's urgent, like an emergency 24-hour service, things of that nature, that they're found, but they're found not just on the first page or not just at the top of Google, but they're found on there multiple times. So in other words, maybe a video that shows them their expertise or what are the benefits of what they provide is on there. There's a listing, their maps, Google Maps listing, their or website listing, there maybe a classified ad or a press release listing talking about a service or something that they've done to help the community. So they're found in multiple areas. So when someone searches for that, they go, oh my gosh, these guys are all over the place. They must be good. We need to call them. And so that's kind of how we got started with that process of kind of doing a little bit differently than most do in the industry, but to really help them be found and position them really as the go-to person, the expert in the industry.
Got it. That's excellent. So what led you to this field, and how did you get started doing this?
Well, it's interesting you asked that because I got started early on in computers. I was very fortunate. My dad purchased one of the old IBM PCXTs back in the 80s, and so I started programming on that in BASIC when I was about 10 years old. And by the time I graduated high school, I already had 4 computer languages under my belt and some college credit before I went to Northern Illinois, where I got my degree in both computer science and business administration. So, however, when I graduated, there really wasn't the internet really wasn't there as we know it today. And I realized I didn't want to be a programmer per se, sitting behind a terminal, 60, 80 hours a week. I decided I wanted to branch into the business side of things. I actually sold computers for a company. That was my one and only stint in corporate America. I was there for a year and a half, sold computers for CDW, and I was a day short of a year and a half too long because I just marched to my own drum, so to speak. I decided at that point that I wanted to focus more on the business and the marketing side of things. So I actually got into another passion of mine, which was nutrition, and started a very successful distribution and marketing and sales company, and had that going for about 15 years. And the market changed. Some things happened in the industry, and we decided that it was time for a change. And I kind of got pulled back into technology, even though I'd been using technology and my computer skills all along in my business. That wasn't the main focus. So back in 2007, a friend approached me and said, hey, can you help me with this marketing plan? We have this new software product. And so it kind of pulled me back into the industry of technology. And I was already looking to try to reinvent myself. And so I kind of looked at the landscape and I said, I could become a web designer, but, they're really, they're a dime a dozen here. And how can I bring value to the industry? And so I looked at what I had to offer, and I had my technical skills and my computer science background, but I also had a lot of marketing and sales background from my previous company. So I decided to merge two together to kind of create a company that understands and uses technology as a tool for my clients, but understands business and speaks the business language and can relate to them and speak to them in terms that they understand, and kind of bring that focus and help them position their businesses and market themselves online, but in a very unique way, making them the experts in the industry, making them the authority in their marketplace when people start to search for them online. And that's kind of how we stumbled into it, and it's been growing ever since.
Excellent. Along the way, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and there's something or someone that inspires them along the way. Can you think of anything or anyone that inspired you to where you are today?
Absolutely. I was early on. I always believed, that self-education, formal education makes you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. And I got that from Jim Rohn, and he was one of my first early mentors. And I got turned on to him back in when I was selling computers, because they came into the presentation and, they said, we're doing this weekend seminar. And so I went to that, and I was the only sales guy that went to that. And I ended up buying all his courses and listening to all his tapes. And it really inspired me to, be a lifelong student, a lover of learning, and to always look at things as what kind of value can I add to whatever I was doing, whether it was in my personal life, business life, career, relationships. How can I add value to that? So he definitely sparked that in me. And then second mentor came around, which was a gentleman named Tony Robbins, which many people have seen his probably late night TV shows and infomercials. And he was coming into town. I had actually bought a Nightingale Conant tape series and had listened to that. And I was home late night, and Jim Rohn had referenced him. So I saw that, and I ran for it. I went and signed up and got my cousin to go with me. And, we walked the hot coals and overcame our fears, and really kind of catapulted me into becoming the entrepreneur that I am today. Those two, and I've had a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of mentors along the way. I really believe, why reinvent the wheel when I can model somebody that's already done it? And if they're willing to teach me and I'm willing to learn, we can make things happen a lot faster and a lot easier along the way. So those are probably the two big ones, but there's been a lot of them along the way.
Those two names come up all the time when I'm interviewing entrepreneurs. So there
really?
Must be something
I'm not surprised.
good about that. Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that with us. So talk about what really drives you and what gets you, or what gives you your passion to get out of bed in the morning and help the people that you're helping.
It's my passion really stems from wanting to. I love people. I always have. My grandfather. He was a very instrumental inspiration. He had his own personal agency for many years, and he's the one. When they talk about people walking with giants, he was always that way. And so he always taught me about building relationships, looking at people versus necessarily business or numbers. And so that's what it is. I drives me to no end with happiness and joy when I can help business owners who I think personally are the bread and butter of America. They're the ones that, built this country. The small businesses and the entrepreneurs are the ones that have made America strong one day, or early on when the country was started, and are what's going to save this country in the future. So to help them, have the light bulb go on. And, so many people look at online marketing and reputation marketing and all these things as, very complicated. There's like this mystery behind it. I actually am getting ready to publish a book called Demystified, which really is about unveiling that and taking the mystery out of it and getting people to understand what it is. And so when I can explain something to them in ways that make sense, and the light bulb goes on, you just see the glimmer in the eye that they finally get it. And then we can go ahead and implement it, and they start seeing results. that's just I love that. It just brings me lots of joy on that because it's working for them. They're getting it. They're getting more ROI. They're getting more customers, clients, patients coming in through the door. They're seeing the results of it, not just it's being something out there that's just kind of floating out there in internet space, kind of intangible. That actually makes it concrete and real for them. So when I can do that for them, I love that.
Wow, that's great passion. And your clients obviously appreciate your passion and helping them. What would be the biggest misconception? You talk about, your book and talking about a couple of those things. What is the biggest misconception that business owners have about what you help them do?
One of the biggest misconceptions is there's really, that's a really difficult question to answer because there are quite a few of them. But one of the things that I love to do, I've always been a curious person and I always love to learn. So I'm always trying to stay ahead of where things are going and trying to keep my pulse on how things are changing and evolving online and in the marketing space on the internet. And so one of the biggest misconceptions currently is people looking at reputation. And reputation has made a big shift over the last couple of years that people don't realize, and that it's not about reputation management; it's about reputation marketing. As a fellow business owner, we don't make money managing; we make money marketing. And so all these things that are touting reputation out there is all about managing it. Well, that's kind of being, reactive versus being proactive. So we take a proactive approach. In fact, our approach is a little unorthodox because I tell people backwards. Most people contact us. I need to be on the top of the search engine. I need SEO. I need to do video. I need all these things going. And I tell them, well, that's great. I'm glad you have that passion to do those things. But let me ask you a question. What's your reputation online? And sometimes they kind of look at me and their eyes glaze over or they stare and they're not sure. And I said, let me ask you a question. What good is it to drive all this traffic, get you all these new clients, patients, whatnot, if they find you and they either find no reputation or they don't find their kind of reputation that they want with the company they want to do business with? And so we kind of take a backwards approach, and a lot of companies are now open to it, where we actually take their reputation, build it up into a 5-star reputation, and then from there build up all the other things and the traffic and the other SEO and those types of things, local marketing that they're needed, because now they're being found the way they want to be found. Because let's face it, perception is reality, and as we all know, I'm sure you've done it before. I go onto Amazon. I'm looking at a product. The first thing I do is read the reviews, the online reviews. Same thing with eBay and eBay sellers and things that we do online. So it's becoming a very critical and essential part of online marketing and online business building because of that fact. In fact, we did a study, and 87% of customers will search online to find a company information even after they've been referred by someone they know. So referral marketing, which used to be offline and face-to-face, one-on-one kind of thing, has now gone online because people are going and searching for them and looking at their reputation and their presence online before they even pick up the call once they were referred to that business. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions is realizing that you need to realize what your reputation is and be proactive about it, which is going out there and not just monitoring it, but going out there and building it and marketing it out there so that people are seeing who you are and what great service that you're providing.
Yes, that's excellent. There's no reason to be driving traffic if you're not positioned in the marketplace or you don't have 10 5-star reviews or whatever it is that, saying that you're the best of the best. So, yeah, that's a great point.
Some creative things with taking their reputation and pushing it out via video and images and different things out there, and kind of getting very proactive about it, because let's face it, people are all over the internet. I mean, they're everywhere. It's, looking at where your potentials might come from and then gearing it towards that. It just makes a lot of sense. We're having a lot of fun with it. It's growing rapidly, and I think you'll see a lot in the next couple of years of how it's going to become more and more of an important factor, especially now since Google about 2 years ago merged like 80 million websites, business websites, with their reputation. So when you search any business, you type in the business name and the city, and immediately what comes up is the company listing, a little bit of information about them, and then their reputation right there, right underneath it. So, it's good. It's definitely the wild, wild web, and we're seeing lots of changes, and there'll definitely be more to come in the future. It's pretty exciting times.
Nice. What described to us a situation where you've actually helped someone overcome those challenges or set them up for success?
Absolutely. Now, I have a client, she's still a client of mine, been long-standing for the last 5 years, and she does ISO 9000 certification, which is an international standard, quality standard, and so forth. And when she came to me, we were in a networking group together, a business-to-business networking group. She's like, people can't even type my business name, and I'm not even being found with my business name. And her company name is very unique. So you'd think that you'd be found. What we did was we put together an authority package for her. And this is going back 5 years ago now, and we're still working with her before reputation really became in. So we started with what we were doing, which was providing valuable content and information and using other authority sites to kind of build this presence online. And within a short period of time, not only was she writing articles and contributing value about her subject matter expertise, which was ISO 9001 and ISO 14000 and all these great quality standard articles. But now she's being found. She's got business offline. She's got customers finding her literally from all over the world, down in Mexico, South America, and so forth. And it's been pretty exciting to see that occur. And it's just one example. And again, everything is a little bit unique, because let's face it, her clientele and where her business coming from is a little bit different than, say, one of my restaurant clients, who's really focused on, the 5 or 10 square mile radius from their restaurant. So each approach is a little bit differently, but the steps and the strategies are the same. We just modify them according to who their ideal customer is and, their ideal locations of where the customers might come from. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. So what would be the first thing that the listener should do if they're ready to improve their reputation or start the process?
Well, the online presence, really is type in your company name and type in your city or company name, city reviews, and see what comes up. And that'll give you a good indication as far as, what your reputation is out there, how people perceive you in the marketplace, and then give us a call. And I'm always happy to give a consultation. In fact, we do a free reputation report where we'll go in and we'll do some analysis, the company, their competition, what their competition's reputation is, and give them an extensive report that will give them a good starting point, whether they decide to work with us or decide to do it on their own or whatever it might be, so that they can see where they should start from and move from there. So, I tell everyone, yes, you want to be found, and you need a good website, you need SEO, you need to be on LinkedIn and Facebook and all those things, but ultimately it starts with where your reputation is and how people are perceiving you in the marketplace, so that we can get you from where you are to being that authority, being that expert, that go-to company that everyone wants to go to in your industry.
Perfect. So where can they find more information about finding out about their reputation? What can they do to do that?
Well, they can come to our website, onlinemarketdomination.com, and they can always feel free to give us a call at 847-238-2768. And myself or one of my assistant will set up an appointment, and we can chat. And they can always email me. And for your listeners, I'll give you my direct email, which is Markus with a K, Markus, at onlinemarketdomination.com. Put in the subject line reputation question from Tracy's interview, and I'll make sure we get back to them right away.
Awesome. Talk about your new book. When do you expect that to launch?
Yeah, well, it's called Demystified, The Business Owner's Roadmap to More Customers, Clients, and Patients Online. We just finished up the editing and the formatting, so it's being submitted to the publishers this week. So we anticipate having hard copies and the Kindle version ready to go probably sometime in the middle of December, and then we'll do an official launch in January to get it out there and really make a splash in the marketplace.
Awesome. Thank you for your time today, Markus. You gave a lot of golden nuggets out there for the listeners, so really appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate you taking the time, and always glad to share with your readers and listeners out there. So thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. Have a great day. Well, there you have it for this edition of the show. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.